At my sister's baby naming ceremony, she stood up and said, "Let's hope the baby doesn't end up like some family members, lost and directionless." She gave me a cruel smile as guests awkwardly shifted. Months later, when her husband's secret other family was exposed, she had no one left to turn to, least of all me. My name's Callie. I'm 33, single, and I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. My life hasn't exactly followed a straight path. I've made mistakes, tried different jobs, dropped out of college twice, tried a side hustle making candles that flopped. Right now, I work full-time at a used bookstore. I rent a one-bedroom apartment above a nail salon. I don't have a partner or kids, and to most of my family, that means I'm still figuring it out, which is their polite way of saying I failed. But let me tell you about my sister, Marla. She's 2 years younger than me. Blonde, pretty, organized, married to a guy who makes 6 figures selling real estate. They have a big house in a gated neighborhood. She drives a brand new SUV with baby seat covers and monogrammed headrests. Her Instagram is all family photos and recipes and selfies with captions like, "Love my chaos 2 hearts #momlife." Our parents adore her. She gave them 2 grandkids. She hosts holidays. When people talk about the good one, they mean her. I was always the other one. The one who hadn't settled down. The one who drifts. Anyway, this happened a few months ago. March. Marla had just given birth to her second baby, a girl, and she decided to throw this fancy naming ceremony. Not just family, a rented hall, a full catered spread, flowers on every table. I almost didn't go. I knew I'd just be standing in the corner while everyone passed around the baby and told Marla how perfect her life was. But Mom called and said, "Please, Callie, just come." For me. So I went. I showed up in my cleanest jeans and a sweater, brought a gift bag with some baby clothes I'd picked out at Target. As soon as I walked in, I knew I was out of place. All the other women were in pastel dresses and heels. I heard someone say, "Oh, Marla's sister," and then just go quiet. I didn't even get a seat at the family table. I sat by the window near the end of the room. The ceremony itself was fine. Denny, Marla's husband, stood up and read something heartfelt. Marla smiled like a queen, holding the baby in a pink wrap. Then she stood up to give her speech. She started thanking people. Her friends. Denny's parents. Then she started talking about how much she wanted her daughter to grow up strong, brave, and clear-headed. Then she said, "I just hope my little girl grows up to follow her dreams, stay focused, and know who she is. Not end up lost and directionless like some people." Then she looked right at me, held the look, and smiled. I felt the heat crawl up my neck. There were about 40 people in that room, and they all heard it. Some laughed. Some shifted in their seats. My cousin Sam looked away. My Uncle Mitch raised his eyebrows. My mom looked like she wanted to die right there at the table. I didn't say anything. I didn't make a scene. I stood up, quietly, and walked out. No one followed me. Not my mom. Not my dad. Not even Marla, who claimed family mattered most. No one called that night. Or the next day. It was like I didn't matter. And that's when something inside me snapped. After I left that day, I went home, sat on the couch, and just stared at the wall. I felt like I'd been punched. I thought maybe someone would reach out. Maybe Mom would call to check on me. Maybe even Marla would send a half-assed apology. But no one did. It was like they agreed with her. Like I really was the useless sister who couldn't get her life together. I started avoiding family stuff. Skipped Easter. Didn't return texts. No one pushed. It was easier without me around, I guess. But here's where things get interesting. I wasn't planning to take revenge. Not at first. I just wanted to be left alone. But then something happened. It started with a phone call. One day in early May, the bookstore was dead. It was a slow Thursday, and I was restocking the biography shelf when my manager told me someone was on the line asking for me. I picked up. It was a woman. She sounded shaky. Youngish. Maybe late 20s. She said, "Is this Callie, Marla's sister?" I said, "Yeah, who's this?" She was quiet for a second. Then she said, "You don't know me, but I think we need to talk. It's about Denny, your sister's husband." I felt my stomach drop. She said her name was Tasha. She lived in Muncie, which is about an hour from Fort Wayne. She said she'd been seeing Denny for over 3 years. She thought he was divorced. He had a whole other place there. Spent weekends with her. They even had a kid together. A boy. 2 years old. I didn't say much. I was in shock. She said she only found out about Marla and the kids last week. Denny had slipped up, left a group chat open on his phone. That's when she saw pictures of my sister, the baby, the ceremony. She found me through an old Facebook tag. I asked her to send proof. She did. Photos, texts, screenshots of Denny holding her baby, videos of him talking about how he finally had a fresh start. There was no mistake. It was him, the golden husband, the perfect dad. Cheating, lying, living 2 lives. I felt sick. Not because I cared about Denny, I'd never liked him, but because I suddenly had power. Real, hard, devastating truth. The kind that could ruin Marla's pretty little world. I sat on that information for 3 days. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't answer Tasha's follow-up texts. Just let it burn a hole in my mind. And then I made a decision. If Marla wanted to treat me like I was nothing, then fine. I'd show her what nothing could do. The first thing I did was get in touch with Tasha again. I told her I believed her. She was relieved. Said Denny had stopped answering her calls once she confronted him. Just vanished. She didn't know whether to go public, sue him, or just disappear. I said, "What if we made sure he doesn't get away with it?" She paused and said, "I'm listening." That weekend, we met up in a Cracker Barrel off I-69. Tasha was younger than me, soft-spoken, but there was steel behind her eyes. She looked like someone who'd been through it and had no more patience left. She brought a folder with her, printouts of every message, bank transactions, addresses, photos. This woman had receipts. We spent 2 hours laying it all out. The timelines matched perfectly. While Marla was pregnant with baby number 2, Denny had been telling Tasha he was just working extra hours to save for a wedding ring. Here's the thing, though. This could have been a clean break. I could have just handed all this to Marla and walked away. But I didn't want that. I didn't want her crying in a pile of tissues, getting sympathy from everyone while I played the messenger. No. I wanted everyone to see who she really was. How fast that picture-perfect life could rot from the inside. So I planned something bigger. There was a community event Marla was organizing in late May, something for their HOA. A family barbecue, face painting for kids, bounce house, raffle tickets, the whole deal. She'd been hyping it up on Facebook for weeks, posting about how grateful she was for her rock of a husband, helping her through it all. That's when the idea hit me. I called in a favor for my friend Lexi, who does local media freelancing, little videos, social recaps for small businesses. I told her I wanted to do a surprise reveal. A real story moment. She was hesitant, but when I showed her the files and explained what Denny had been doing, she agreed to film it. We disguised it as a feel-good community clip. Lexi got permission to film local family life for an indie doc series. Marla ate it up, gave her a full interview, said stuff like, "My husband works so hard for us. He's such a provider. We're truly blessed." She even said, "We don't keep secrets in this family. That's the key." I nearly laughed. Tasha showed up that day too. With her son. She didn't confront him at first. She just walked around like any other parent, staying out of the way. But when Denny finally walked out of the garage to grill burgers, Tasha stepped right up to him. She didn't yell, didn't scream. She just said, "Hey, Denny, remember me?" The color drained from his face. He looked like he'd been slapped. Marla was walking over with a tray of lemonade when it happened. She froze mid-step. People stopped talking. Kids stopped bouncing. Tasha said, "You told me you were divorced. You told me we were building a life. So what's this, huh?" Then she held up her phone and played a video of Denny telling her, just months ago, You and my son are everything I have." Lexi was filming the whole thing from the sidewalk. Marla just stood there, blinking, holding the lemonade like it was made of glass. Then, slowly, her hand dropped. The tray clattered, the cups spilled, and the real unraveling began. Everything slowed down in that moment. The lemonade hit the pavement. Denny looked from Tasha to Marla, like a man drowning. Guests started whispering. Someone said, "Is this real?" A few people pulled out their phones. Then Marla turned to me. She knew. She knew I had set this up. Her eyes were wide but sharp. Not shocked, furious. Like she'd just been robbed and spotted the thief. She walked up to me, chest heaving. "You did this," she hissed. I didn't deny it. I didn't flinch. I said, "You stood up in front of 40 people and humiliated me. You looked me in the eye and made me feel worthless. Well, now you get to feel what that's like." She blinked fast, breathing hard. "He lied to me." I nodded. "And you're not the only one who's been lied to. But the difference is you liked feeling better than me. You enjoyed it." She opened her mouth, then shut it. I turned and walked away. That was the last time I spoke to Marla in person. The video got out. Lexi didn't have to post it, someone else did. Within hours, it was all over Facebook. Local real estate agent busted with secret family at HOA barbecue. His company dropped him 2 days later. Clients pulled their listings. His face was everywhere. Marla didn't post for a while after that. Then she tried to spin it, saying she was a victim of betrayal and healing with her kids. But no one really bought it. The neighbors knew. Her friends pulled away. She stopped showing up to events. I heard she had to move in with our parents temporarily after the mortgage went into default. Tasha ended up suing Denny for child support. She won. Big. I helped her find a lawyer and wrote a statement for her case. As for me, I wish I could say it felt perfect, that revenge healed the wound. But it didn't. What I did was ugly, strategic, cold. I took the truth and used it like a weapon. I became what I hated in Marla, someone who used pain to get a rise, someone who wanted people to squirm. But I don't regret it. She wanted to humiliate me in public? She got hers in public. And now when I walk into family dinners, I don't sit alone anymore. I sit with my head high, because I may have been lost before, but now I'm the one no one dares to cross.